What's up, Internet? This is Hourglass Gaming, and for today's video I jumped back into Destiny, and so I wanted to talk about the Dark Below expansion and whether or not it is worth the $20 price tag. The short answer is that I think it is. However, if you are hoping that the Dark Below will fix the problem that Destiny has, then you're going to be disappointed. The Dark Below basically just adds more of the same to Destiny. You get a few story missions, which are fun, but fail to really contribute anything to the story of the game. You spend the missions walking around assassinating Crota's henchmen, which supposedly sets him back. The strike and the raid are considered the endpoints of the story, which I thought was a nice change from the random drop-in strikes featured in the core of the game. The story of the Dark Below does not, however, clarify any of the loose ends established by the main story, nor does it do a particularly good job of explaining itself. The Hive's relationship to the darkness is still unclear, as is their motivation behind wanting to destroy the worlds of the solar system. The gameplay for the story missions was fun, however, and even though they tracked back through spaces that I've already been to, it was still fun to have more missions to play. In all honesty, I haven't completed the raid, so I don't know if that makes the expansion even more worthwhile, though I have read that it does. The strike is what really sold the expansion for me. Most of the strike was pretty typical, but when you catch up to the Witch, it gets really intense. And so that was kind of what I wanted out of the other strikes. Like, you're fighting your way up this ruined hill, and the Hive are just pouring down, and like we got pushed back our first time that I did it. And then when you get to the Witch's chamber, it's absolute chaos. There's Hive everywhere, and it seems completely unmanageable. And that's kind of what I wanted out of the other strikes. Most of the strikes in the core game felt like they had a lot of downtime in which you're just kiting and shooting the boss, and they're like sort of boring, and you're just standing there shooting an object. But the new strike and the new level 26 strike playlist kind of fixed that by reducing that downtime and really kind of upping the ante with the number of enemies that are in the fights. There still aren't true boss mechanics, which is still disappointing, but the strike is definitely a step in the right direction, and I really enjoyed it. As far as multiplayer content goes, this expansion adds 3 new maps, none of which I thought stood out that much, but I'm not particularly interested in Destiny multiplayer. I think there are much better multiplayer experiences, so I didn't play it that much. But it adds 3 new maps, so if that's what you're into, then it does broaden the multiplayer experience. The last thing that the expansion adds is new gear, which for me is a really mixed bag, which is one of my biggest issues with Destiny right now. Like in any other game, if you pick up an item, that means that you've become more powerful. But in Destiny, gear feels more like a chore. You know, in World of Warcraft, if I get a new item, I look at the stats, it makes me more powerful, and then I'm better. But in Destiny, if I get a new item, then that's a whole new item that I need to level up and farm materials for. And so the prospect of a new piece of armor means that I need to spend hours of my life walking from point to point, looking for chests to get helium filaments out of. And that simply is really unappealing to me, which makes the new equipment of the expansion seem kind of more like something that detracts from the experience than something that's going to add to it. And so it's exciting. You know, the Murmur pulse rifle that you get is really cool. I have enjoyed using that. But I think in general, getting new equipment in Destiny just means a lot more work, which is just not that interesting. So basically, if you enjoyed the Destiny main game, then I think you'll enjoy the Dark Below, but it will not fix the problems that Destiny already has. Coming back to Destiny also made me think about why I was disappointed with the game, so I want to talk a little bit about that. And I think the basic problem is that Destiny tries very hard to be an MMO and fails miserably at that. Whereas if it just tried to be a normal shooter, I think it would be excellent. And so basically the issue is that Destiny tries to be a game that answers all of your gaming desires without providing that content. You know, if you want to play only World of Warcraft, that's a thing you can do, and you will not run out of content to experience. If you like PvP, there's a huge amount of content and complexity, both in the form of arena matches and battlegrounds. If you like PvE, there are hundreds of hours of story quests, dozens of dungeons, and a great many raids. If you like playing farming games, then there's a farming mini game in World of Warcraft. If you just want to go around collecting mounts, you can do that. If you want to build a castle, you can put your effort into that. Hell, if you enjoy Pokemon, you should play World of Warcraft, because World of Warcraft has a Pokemon game in it. You can run around collecting little battle pets and then fighting other players in their battle paths. And so if you play World of Warcraft, you're never going to run out of things to do, even if it's the only game you play. However, with Destiny, you run out of things to do almost immediately, even if it's not the only game you're playing. There's just not that much content. And then Destiny says, okay, like, now to get this new equipment, go back and play the things we already had you play. And then the reward for that will be harder versions of the things we already had you play. And there's just like next to nothing to do in Destiny. And so I think if it was just a shooter campaign, that would be fine. But instead it's trying to be this thing, and it really just is not that. And so kind of my hope is that the developers realize this and kind of commit to one direction. You know, I think Destiny can be an excellent shooter series, or if they really put their backs into it, it could potentially be a really good MMO series. But right now it's flip-flopping between the two and doing neither of them that well. So anyways, that's what I think of Destiny and The Dark Below. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Did you enjoy The Dark Below? Are you still frustrated by Destiny's lack of content? In any case, I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to see more gameplay and commentary, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.